So today, we're going to jump into a single line from Psalm 56. And what's fascinating is that it's not about escaping danger. Not at all. It's actually a guide for how to move through it from the inside. Think of it less like a statement and more like a sequence of choices, a whole journey that happens right in the middle of fear.
Okay, let's dive right in. We talk about fear like it's this one single thing, but the ancient sources make this really crucial distinction. On one hand, you've got this destructive fear, the kind that clouds your judgment, silences your conscience, and just weakens your mind. But then there's another kind of fear, and this one, paradoxically, actually opens your eyes. It steadies your soul. It's not terror. It's more like a profound recognition of reality.
So the real question is, right, how do you make that jump? How do you get from that blinding, panicky fear to the one that actually brings wisdom? Well, this explainer is all about unpacking an ancient framework that gives us a roadmap for that exact journey.
And the secret, and this is the cool part, isn't some magic word or a grand philosophical idea. Believe it or not, it's hidden in the very grammar of the original Hebrew. It reveals this series of small, incredibly deliberate steps for transforming fear from the inside out.
Step 1. The whole process starts right here, with just radical honesty. No pretending, no good vibes only. It starts by naming the moment for what it is. Bayom ira, in the day I fear. It's an unflinching acknowledgement of the situation. The fear is real, and we're starting right there.
Now look what gets added. This is where it gets really interesting. A direction is introduced. Ani elecha, I to you. This is a conscious turn. It's a choice you make while you are still afraid. The fear hasn't magically disappeared, but you are actively changing its focus. You're giving it a direction.
And the whole phrase builds to this climax, an action, a verb. Ivtach, I will trust. See, trust here isn't a passive feeling you just hope to have. It's presented as a deliberate choice. It's something you do. It's the final active step in this powerful grammatical sequence.
So when you look at the full verse, you see this beautiful literary structure called a micro-chiasm, where the ideas basically fold in on themselves. It's like a mirror. Let's walk through it. It starts with step 1, I fear, raw and real. That fear is then met with step 2, the action of I will trust. That action then becomes step 3, the settled state of I have trusted. And then look what happens at the end. The process culminates in step 4, which mirrors the beginning but is completely transformed. I will not fear. Fear isn't just erased, it's contained and transformed by trust.
Okay, so that's the internal blueprint. It's an elegant idea, but you might be thinking, that's great, but how does the grammar of an ancient text help me in my world, right now? How does this possibly apply when our struggles look so different?
Well, the person who wrote this psalm wasn't talking about abstract evil. They felt like they were being literally crushed and swallowed up, and wow, does that language feel current. It speaks directly to the quiet, grinding suffering of modern life. Being crushed, not by some random fate, but by unjust systems. Being suffocated by office politics and favoritism. Facing character assassination, or just the deep, painful sting of being punished with silence and indifference. This is for anyone who feels like they're doing the work, but their name is being erased, climbing a ladder that has no upward path.
And this leads to one of the most incredible lines from that struggle. Put my tears in your bottle. Sima dimati binodaha. It's this powerful plea for our unseen suffering to be recorded somewhere. It's the idea of an unseen ledger, where every silent, honest effort, every quiet tear is actually being counted, especially when no one else is around to see it or applaud.
But, and this is so important, let's be absolutely real here. This process is not some guarantee of a happy ending. Sometimes that relief, that justice, just doesn't come. The poet Haim Nachman Bialik captured this raw despair perfectly. It's the cry of a soul that feels completely stuck, demanding justice now or not at all.
So that brings us to the core argument here. If this psalm isn't offering a guaranteed rescue, then what is the point? Well, it's offering something maybe even more fundamental, a freedom that can never, ever be taken away.
The sources argue that even when everything else is stripped away, your power, your reputation, your physical liberty, there is one freedom that remains untouched, and that is the freedom to decide where your heart, your inner self, will turn.
So we have to completely rethink what trust means in this context. It is not a naive hope for survival. It's a stubborn, gritty refusal to let terror or injustice or indifference have the final word on what your life means. It is a profound act of inner defiance.
One of the sources calls this choice the breath between two humiliations. And what a phrase that is. It's that tiny space, that one moment right in the middle of all the pressure and the pain, where you actively choose meaning over bitterness, where you refuse to let the world make you cynical.
And when you make that inner turn, something really powerful happens. You are liberated. You start doing what's right, not because someone might notice or give you a pat on the back, but because you realize that being remembered by truth itself matters so much more than being recognized by other people. You stop waiting for approval. All right, so let's follow this journey to its conclusion. Let's see how this whole process culminates in its final state.
The sources identify this indestructible part of ourselves as the Ruach, the spirit, or the breath. It's described as this inner lamp that can be bruised by oppression for sure, but it can never be bought, silenced, or truly commanded, because deep down, it always remembers where it came from. Now, one of the sources uses this really wild metaphor from modern physics to explain this. And don't worry, you don't need to understand quantum mechanics. Just get the concept. This equation on your screen describes how a chaotic system finds a calm, stable state. The suggestion is that this ancient sequence of words, this grammar of transformation, acts in the exact same way on our inner world. It takes all that chaotic energy of fear and gently guides it back to a place of inner peace and stability. It's a very modern picture of a very ancient practice.
And this is where the whole journey lands. It brings us right back to that final phrase, Lo ira, I will not fear. But you see, this statement isn't where you begin. You can't just jump to it. It's the destination you earn after walking through the entire process. So in the end, that final declaration, I will not fear, doesn't mean the danger is gone. It doesn't even mean the feeling of fear has been totally erased. It means something so much more profound, that your inner self, your breath, your spirit has been reoriented. It's found its way home. And that leaves us with a final thought to sit with. In the day you fear, where will you let yours turn?